This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, what we're looking at today is what happens when you have more than one product. And like I said, if you have more than one job, you just add those salaries together. And so we have more than one product. Let's look at a situation where we had two products. Product A, direct materials 4, labor 5, we're going to produce 100. Product B, direct materials 3, labor 2, we're going to produce 50. We're producing everything in the same facility, so it's $50,000. So we know that, okay, we got a direct material cost, we got a direct labor cost. What's going to be the MOH cost when we have more than one product?
The combined number of products.
There's several ways that we're going to do it, but typically we're going to do it by the number of labor hours. Uh, we could do it by production quantity, but most times we're going to use labor hours to do it. So in the example here, what I assumed was that the labor hours for A was 60,000 and for B was 40,000. Okay. We're going to add those together. We're going to get 100,000. And sort of in a weighted average way, we're going to divide the 50,000 by 100,000 and we're going to get what? 0.5. This 0.5 is not only our activity rate, but it's also our POR. So when you calculate this, you have not only the activity rate, but you also have the POR when we're dealing with multiple products. So with that activity rate, we come back and bring down our hours, 60,000 for A, 40,000 for B. We multiply the 60,000 by 50 cents, the activity rate, and we end up allocating 30,000 of the overhead to product A, and with a similar process, 20,000 to product B. We come back to those expected production quantities, 100,000 and 50,000. If you remember, we're making 100,000 of A and 50,000 of B. We divide that allocated overhead uh, by the production quantity, and we get the unit overhead. So the unit overhead cost for A is 30 cents, for B is 40 cents. And our selling price multiples is 2 and 3. Now, you've always got to go through and make this calculation on the table uh, and let me know what your unit cost selling price and POR is. Some of you did not do that. So if you remember, we said for product A, 4 for materials, 3 for product B for direct materials, labor 5 and 2, and that calculated overhead from above 30 and 40 cents is added. And so the total selling price, total unit cost is 930 and 540. We multiply by the selling price multiple to get the selling price, and the POR is already calculated. Whatever your activity rate is will become the POR to be utilized in that journal entry. So that's a change, and it makes it maybe a little bit easier. You don't have to go through the special calculation to get POR. When you got the activity rate, you already have it. Are there any questions? So we just said, let's go back and review. that simply we knew that the materials was 4, the labor was 5. We knew that on A and on B, we had one overhead number. And so we needed to allocate this overhead 50,000 between A and B so that we could divide whatever was allocated by the quantity to get the unit overhead cost. Because to get the total cost, you always need direct materials, direct labor, and unit overhead cost. And so we're making that adjustment. And so we go through these calculations. So everybody would go through these calculations, come up with an activity rate, and then they will move to their book to come up with their unit overhead cost. With that, you bring that down to uh, your product, your book, direct materials, direct labor, manufacturing overhead, total unit cost, selling price, and POR. So I did it just on 2 items so you get the whole picture. Are there any questions? Okay, let's go then to our demonstration problem. And this problem is due by the start of class on next class period if we don't finish it tonight. Now, there are 4 books: Principles, Intermediate, Advanced, and Tax. So right now, team leaders, let your folks know what book they're doing. They need to know because you're supposed to have copies of the material and you're going to be writing along with me, or you can be using the Excel spreadsheet. So we're already practicing on what we're going to be doing on Thursday. So everybody needs to know from the team leader whether they're doing principles, intermediate, advanced, or tax. Has that been done?
No, not yet. I need to ask my team member which one I'm doing. What- So we're just gonna ask them like right here?
Team leader is supposed to be telling you. Send them a message or something, team leader, or put it in the chat. Tell them what book they're doing.
Dr. Boyd, is that in Blackboard as well?
This problem, yeah, this should be in Blackboard. I hope. Look under course content and joint product costing. Is this there? Hopefully it's there. Is it there? Does anybody see it?
No, I don't see it, Dr. Boyd. The last one we have on our under course content is drawbar costing.
Okay,
Um,
so I guess nothing came through. Okay, let me see if I can put it in here. Did you get an announcement from me at all?
we got the announcement, but I got the announcement. I can't speak for everyone else. We had a lot announcement that says located under course content, but it's only
Mhm.
the
Okay.
preliminary week 8 and revised teams. And
Okay. So let's see. They were working on the system a lot over the holidays, and so
mhm.
okay, you don't see job order costing on the statement of cash flow. Okay, maybe
So hold on. I
statement
have
of cash flow. That's job order. Okay, and we need joint product costing.
Yeah, the last one, the last one we have is under course content is drawbar costing.
So let me put in. costing. See if they're there now.
I see it.
Okay. So we have a principles, intermediate, advanced, and a tax book. So team leaders, you need to assign somebody principal, somebody intermediate, somebody advanced, and somebody tax. Team leader takes tax. That's on all teams except 2 and 3. On 2 and 3, all the team members are assigned the book. Now, they're not, okay, so hopefully all of them are here on 2 and 3, and the team leaders are just going to pull it all together. Okay, so hopefully you can pull this up. I'm sorry I didn't get there earlier. Each book has its assumption. So the quantity that's going to be made, that's the first thing up here. Then it has the ink, then it has the paper, then it has the labor productivity, then it has the labor rate, then it has the selling price multiple. That's what you've been working with all the time. It's just that on this in-class problem and on your quiz on Thursday, everybody got a book and you merging it together, okay? First thing we need to do is come up with the labor hours. So how many labor hours is the principles book going to take? So somebody should be on principles, should be able to tell me how many labor hours it's going to take to make that book. How many labor hours?
Less than one.
How many?
It's 10 books per hour, so it takes less than 1 hour to make a book.
So what does that mean?
It'll take 2,000 hours.
2,000 hours. So we're going to divide 10 books per hour into 20,000. We get 2,000. When we go to intermediate, it's going to be what? That's our number going to be.
30.
How much?
30.
3,000. I don't need an advanced person to tell me the number of books here.
3 going into 10,000. It's 3 at 20, yeah.
You're supposed to be on this productivity line, okay? When you're determining the hours, you're on the productivity line only.
Okay.
Ah,
1 book per hour.
yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So how many hours is it gonna take? If it's 1 book per
10,000 hours.
thing, is
10,000.
10,000.
If we make it.
And for the tax book, how many hours? Kayvon, you might have quiet. How many hours? Used to have a textbook. How many hours?
Dang. Well, I'm taking 2 hours per book.
Say what?
I'm taking the wait. Am I taking the 2 hours per book
Yep.
by the ten per hour?
Oh no. I'd actually, you're supposed to have this book.
Uh, hey,
Either actually. I don't- So let's go to Ashleyville. How many hours?
It'll be
10,000.
10,000.
10,000.
Thinking 10,000. Add all these hours up. What do we have?
25,000.
25,000 hours. So this is the activity. What I'm going to do, copy, try to copy these. I'm going to paste them right here. So what is my activity rate / POR going to be? What is my activity rate / POR going to be?
.25.
What's going to be Maness, who's visiting? What's it going to be, Maness? Can't hear you. She's quieted down. All right, James, what's it going to be?
Say it again.
What's my activity rate POR going to be?
Will it be 20,000 divided by 25,000?
That's right. Well, 200,000 divided by 25,000.
That's what I said.
Yeah. So what's it going to be?
Okay, hold on, let me do it.
is it 8?
8.
8. Okay. See that, Mike? So all you do to get your activity rate, you add up all of these hours, then you divide it into the overhead. Is that clear by everyone? So everybody's got to do this. Okay. So what we've done so far, everybody has to do it.
You said by the overhead?
Yep, 200,000. Overhead was 200,000. That's assumed total overhead is 200,000. We got that assumption. So everybody makes this calculation, and then you check it out to see if you got the same number. But you don't want to just take it as incorrect because it'll cause a lot of other things to be incorrect. So everybody makes this calculation of the activity rate POR. Got it?
And that's what we turning in to our team leader, correct? That count as our one book that you referring to turn in, correct? I try to figure it out because
Well, it's a whole lot more stuff you gotta
yeah,
fill
I
out.
get that, but I'm just saying like after we do all that, that's our book, the book that we sent to our team leader.
Yeah. So what
Okay,
book you got? What book you got?
I got advanced.
Okay. Well, since you talking, we might do advanced then.
Go
So let's
ahead.
do advance.
I'm ready.
All right. Speak.
Speed, labor hours, advanced labor hours. So we gonna do. I'm gonna do a 10 by 200,000, which is gonna give me 20. You said I'm dividing that number, correct? It's gonna give
You
me
put down
20,000.
now, all you're doing is we bringing these numbers down, these hours again.
Oh, we
We're
just
gonna
gonna.
bring. We're just gonna bring them down. You're making it hard.
Oh, yeah.
Then we're gonna get this activity rate. So let's not try and make it hard. Then what we're gonna do next? What we're gonna do next, Maya?
Allocate overhead line 1 and 2. Allocate overhead lines 1 and 2.
It's a simple thing, and I would say either multiplying or dividing, but it does tell you what allocated overhead is what. What's it say here?
It's lines 1 times lines 2.
All right.
So 1 times 2. So we gonna multiply 10,000. We on the advance, correct? We gonna apply 10,000 by 8.
Uh-huh. So how much
And
overhead have you allocated to advance?
80,000, sir.
Everybody else got to be doing the same thing with their book. All you're doing is multiplying 8 times these hours. So how much is it for principals?
For principals, it'll be 16,000.
And how much is it for advance?
24,000.
And how much is it for tax?
80,000.
80,000.
Okay. What we're gonna do next? What's on
Uh,
line 4?
Unit, oh, the unit overhead costs, so you divide lines 3 and 4. So 24,000
What's
divided
gonna
oh,
go on
by,
line 4?
now we gotta do line 4. Do we add up all of those? Do we add up all of the total? So if we on the advance, are we adding up 10,000 plus 8 plus 80,000 for our quantity?
No.
You're just going to take the quantity from the other sheet. How many books you're going to do for each?
Yeah,
Is that right?
Okay.
correct. So can we have the quantities here somewhere? Yeah. On the first line was the quantity. So
I
we're gonna
had 10.
copy the quantities. Copy. We will put them right here. Ah, dude. So we bring down the quantities that we're gonna make, and now we're gonna get the unit overhead cost for each book. So principal people getting the cost, intermediate people getting the cost, advanced people getting the cost, tax getting the cost.
so Professor Boyd, when we turn this in, do we just do our column? Like, I know we're following along with you, but when we turn it in, we're just doing our column that we need to do, or just do
When
it
you
all?
turn this in today, it's just one by the team. Now on Thursday, you will send in your column uh, as part of your retest. But we aren't doing anything different. I hope you see that. So I need somebody from principal to tell me what line uh, 3 is divided by line 4. I need a principal person to give me this amount. Then I want an intermediate, an advanced, and a tax person to give me these numbers.
0.8.
Okay, so 0.8 is principals. What about intermediate?
1.6.
1.6. What about advanced?
Oh yeah, 10,000. 3 and 4, 10,000 by 8,000.
Mm-hmm. How much is that gonna be?
8.
What's the tax gonna be?
16.
16.
So now you have calculated the unit overhead cost. Now you got to go to this table. This is what you do next for your book. Ink, paper, labor, overhead, total unit cost, selling price, multiple selling price, POR. So everybody now is to do that. If you got principals, you're making this calculation. You got intermediate, you got this book. Advanced this book, tax this book. You're doing exactly what you were doing before to come up with the unit ink, unit paper. You calculated the labor, total unit cost. So everybody work on their books. I will give you it's about 5 minutes or so, 5 to 7 minutes. Work on your book and make this calculation. And you must submit this calculation with your individual work. But at this point, you're working on your book only.
Professor Boyd, can you scroll up to the top of the paper?
All the way to here. This is where you
Yes.
want to be. Okay. And next you should be working on the tax book. James, you and Mike can work on that one also. but overall you're waiting for a submission. You're still going to try to get that submission from your team member.
Hey, Professor, I'm trying to find that exact like document. I'm not seeing it nowhere under course content. What is under
Should be on the joint product costing.
again?
I apologize that it wasn't there. Just
Oh, I found it.
you see it now?
Yes, I can just get my stuff copied over here.
Okay. So we have those unit costs and everything calculated yet? I need a principals person to give me the unit cost. Just give me the total cost. Well, let's move to intermediate. Is there anybody in intermediate with the total unit cost? Advanced. Is there anybody with the total unit cost for advanced?
I am almost there, Dr. Boyd. I'm trying to get
Okay.
there.
But what about tax? Does anybody have the total unit cost for tax? Okay, let's look at principles then. If we look at principles, the ink is 1 at 20 and the paper is 1 at 10. Therefore, the ink is 20 and the paper is 10. And I go back up and I can make 10 books per hour. I'm paid $10 an hour, so I'm going to divide. And so my labor is 1. And what's my overhead cost going to be, principals people?
$1.25.
Y'all making it hard. We calculated the unit overhead cost right here. I'm going to copy those for you and put those here. That's what we did in this step. We got the unit overhead cost. So can y'all finish them now?
So, Dr. Boyd, you can't, because you've already figured that out, you don't need to do the quantity divided by
You
what
already
you're.
did it. That's what you did here. You divide the overhead that was allocated by the quantity that you're
Gotcha.
going to make. So you already did it.
Yeah, you lost me with that one, Dr. Boyd.
What I lost you on?
So we just pulling a unit overhead cost from the number 5 and putting it down.
Mm-hmm. What does that say? Computation of overhead unit cost. So you calculated it. Now you just move it down. So it's easier than y'all think, but you know, you can make it hard. But so now everybody got their overhead costs in there. So do I have any total unit cost now on principles? What about on intermediate?
Is ink 40, paper's 20, and then your overhead's 1.6,
What's my
and that's all.
labor?
Oh, I don't know.
We go up here,
2.
5 books
Oh,
per hour, so that would be 2.
okay.
So what's your total cost gonna be? $40, 22, and 1.6. That shouldn't be too hard, is it?
To get the total cost, you add those up.
Mm-hmm.
63.6.
63.6. Has anybody got the principles added up yet?
Yes, sir.
How much is it?
21.8. I mean 31.8. 31.8.
31.8. Yeah, that sounds better. What about advance?
I got I'm on the labor, but I got 6.6 for the ink.
You got what?
My ink is 3 at 20, so I divided it.
No.
First thing I did wrong, huh?
You got to multiply.
3 at 20. Okay, so that's 60.
Do you see that now? If you got to use 3 ink cartridges and it costs 20 each, then you got to multiply. What about the paper?
20. So we got 60 and 20.
What's your
2
labor?
1 book per hour. My labor is 1 book per hour, and my labor rate is $10 an hour. 10.
That's correct. So when we add them all up, how much is it?
10. 60, 20, 60, 20. It's 80 plus 10 is 98 total unit cost.
Take your word for it. What about for the tax book?
We have 80 plus 30 plus 20 plus 16 to get 146.
80 plus
30
30
plus 20,
and overhead. So this is how much?
146.
So then we bring down our selling price multiples. We got those in here somewhere here. There they are here. So what's the selling price of principles? Selling price for principles. Not too hard to calculate there.
How do you get the selling
63.6.
price
How much?
again?
63.6.
How do you get the selling price again?
Multiple. We multiply the multiple times the unit cost, and one of your assumptions up here is your selling price multiple. You always look at that. So you're just bringing that selling price multiple down and multiplying. What's the intermediate book selling price going to be?
190.8.
190.
How much?
190.8.
90. Oh. And the advanced book,
94.
said
294.
294.
Yes, sir.
Tax book,
584.
what's our predetermined overhead rate for principals? And for intermediate, and for advanced, and for tax. What's that number going to be?
Isn't it going to be the main factor and overhead divided by the
No,
quantity?
no.
No.
Find out where this 8 came from. Where did that 8 come from? Y'all like to do a lot of extra work.
Oh, the
Already
8
break.
came
We
from the
just
overhead. Okay.
The what?
It was the main factor in overhead divided by the activity rate.
Well, what we said was that the activity rate and POR are the same. So we divided manufacturing overhead by the
By
total
the
hours,
total. Oh, okay,
8.
there you go.
So for all of them, it's 8. Any questions at this point? Any questions?
I want to ask, where's the document with the information with the quantity and everything on it? Cause I only see the blank filling sheet.
We got the blank fill-in sheet. Then in the narrative, the other Word document, here's the problem here. So in the other document, these numbers are listed. So
I have
this,
one question, Dr. Boyd.
yes.
And I'm just going back through what we did. The
Yeah,
labor hours.
uh-huh.
The labor hours. How do we get that again?
Well,
Assume the
okay.
total is 200,000 divided by okay. 200,000 divided by 10,000.
Wait a minute, hold it. What were you asking? How we got
Uh,
these?
under yes, labor hours.
Well, we just go up here and say that if it's 20,000 and it's 10 books per hour, we divide by 10. It's gonna take us 2,000.
Okay. So per hour, the labor product. I'm sorry, the labor productivity and the quantity. I got you.
Right. You're dividing in these first 2 cases. In the third case, it's just 1. So you multiplying and dividing by 1 is going
Right.
to be the same thing. But in this fourth case, since it's 2 hours per book, you had to multiply. So in this fourth case, you had to multiply.
So you multiplying 2 hours, 2 by 5,000, which you get at 10,000 hours. Okay.
Correct. Any other questions on that? Okay. So we now have what we typically need to work a problem: unit cost, selling price, and POR. Now we're ready to make journal entries. We're ready to make journal entries. We got those same stages. In stage one, only the company is making journal entries. See, the company, so this is the team leader's role as company. And if it's only 40 doing the tax booking company. But only the team leader buys it, okay? Stage one, only the team leader. In stage two, each team makes a journal entry to bring in those stage two journal entries: ink, paper, labor, and apply the overhead. So principals is making these journal entries: intermediate, advanced, and tax. Then stage three, same thing: principals, intermediate, advanced, and tax makes journal entries. And in stage four, on the sale of the books, principals book, intermediate, advanced, and tax book. Those journal entries have to be posted to the ledger. And once that's done, then the work is finished on each book. So you get that done and send your information to the team leader. Here's the actual overhead, team leaders, that you'll be working with. This is the actual overhead, and you handle the journal entry for actual overhead, etc. So,
Do all our actual overheads supposed to say the same thing?
no, there's one actual in total. So for your book, you will allocate it, then you're done. Then the team leader's gonna come back and pick it up. So let me see. It is that same worksheet. Let me move this over here. We got to make these journal entries and post to the ledger. So let me get back. So you should have been working on this sheet, if not, just planning to work, working on this sheet in Word. Or you can do it in Excel, but sometimes it's good to work at the first time. So the team leader is making this journal entry. The quantity of ink purchased is 110. 110 cartridges. How much do these cartridges cost each? Weren't they $20?
In principles?
Yeah. No, I'm talking about for the company. How much did the ink cartridges cost?
Yeah, that is
$20.
$20.
$20 each.
So therefore, in stage one, the raw materials, that's going to be what, 2,200,000? And your credit needs to be 2,200,000 also. My sheet doesn't pick it up there, but anyway,
Can you scroll back up for me too, boy, please?
where you want to go to?
Back to the top because I need to put that info in now that I found the doc and stuff.
Oh, you need to put this information down. You found the document.
Mm-hmm.
So here it is here, and you got this. You got this information also. But the ink was $20. If you're making books, you're not gonna buy the ink separate. You're gonna try to get your best deal by buying all of the ink and all of the paper. So since we were buying 110,000 ink cartridges, we multiplied that by 20. And then for paper, the paper costs what?
$10.
$10. So this journal entry is going to be what? They're going to be 900.
900,000.
So remember, in stage one, only the team leader is doing that. Now, we then post those numbers. So that was what? 2,200,000. So 2,200,000 and 900,000.
Mr. Boyd, are we writing that on our original, or we had to go back to our journal spreadsheet to make these journal entries?
You're making these journal entries on this sheet. You got a sheet like this, and you have an Excel one. You got a
Right,
Word
right,
one.
but on our sheet it don't have credit and debits. It just got one big column on there.
You
It
have to
says
put that in. It just didn't come through.
okay.
But your main concern, so once you make a journal entry, you got to post it to the ledger. Now, in stage two, remember what? Each book is making the journal entry. So what book want to take the lead? Everybody else got to do it.
It's in stage 2, which is made for each book.
So, for the first one, for ink to work in process, you'll do
Okay.
20,000, but you'll multiply that times the paper, which was
Wait a minute, we're doing the ink. 20,000 ink cartridges put in. And how much did we pay per ink cartridge?
we paid 20, so 20
Right,
times 20,000.
400,000. So we would debit work in process and credit raw materials inventory for 400,000. Every book does that based on so. All right, what we're going to do for the paper? 20,000 in paper. What does the paper cost?
$10.
So this is going to be 200,000. But every book is doing this. So now you will go and post these. So here that individual is going to go and going to credit 400 and 200. Then you're going to There's a work in process account for principals. So we're going to put 400,000 in here and 200,000. Going back to principals, the next journal entry, actual labor hours was 2,000. How much were we paying? $10 an hour. So what's this number going to be? Benny? We're working on
20,000.
it's going to be 20,000. What's our overhead number going to be?
Overhead is the 200,000 that they gave us earlier, or is it the actual overhead that we multiplied?
We multiply. We're using these numbers now. 20,000 times 20 for the ink, 400,000. 20,000 times 10. That's how much paper we requisition. 200,000. Our labor hours is 2,000. We were paying what an hour? 10, so it's 20,000. Now I need the applied overhead. I need a number for applied overhead.
8.
16,000.
16,000. We just gonna multiply 8 times that, so it gives us
You
16,000.
already got your clothes.
8 times what?
You already got
2,000 times 8, the activity rate. Remember that predetermined overhead rate was 8, so
Right.
everybody multiplying by 8. So now we've got to go through and post these. That's 20,000 and 16,000. So the total cost and work in process principles is how much? What's this total cost going to be? What? We add all of these up. What's that going to be?
636,000.
636. So we made all the books. So we know that we're going to transfer all 636 out. Okay. So we're going to debit finished goods for 636. And we're going to credit work in process for 636. So everybody should be doing that. And then we're going to, so let's see if we can post that 636. So we're going to, when we post that, we're going to credit 636. We're going to debit finished goods principal 636. And for that manufacturing overhead that we estimated, we're going to put 16,000 here. Okay. You know, as I got the principal's book. That's the principal's MOH, principal's cost of goods sold, sales by principal, his intermediate, his tax. So just kind of telling you, put them in those locations. Now, how many books did we sell?
20,000.
Oh, you sold 15,000.
Oh, 15,000. 15,000.
Where you
So if
get?
you
God, I'm so lost right now.
okay, these are the numbers you're using to make the journal entries. So where you lost that?
Where we get 15,000 from?
Right here, it tells you that the number sold is 15,000. That's always a given. Okay. So all the way across, it's got the number sold. So these are the numbers for the amount of raw materials you purchasing, or that you're transferring in, excuse me.
15.
Then because we complete all the books, whatever cost we got in that T account, we can transfer out. So if we sell 15,000, what we're gonna sell
Oh,
them at?
15,000. Nah.
We didn't sell 20, we sold 15.
Yeah, I was reading the wrong line. 6360.
So 15,000 times 6360, how much is that gonna be?
$954,000.
Take your word for it. 954 sales. Now we need a cost of goods sold number. So if
15,000. Oh,
it's 15,000 and we're on target for everything, so what's our unit cost?
3180.
Should be 3180. That's what we estimated, and I'm assuming is on target. So we're gonna multiply 3180 times 15,000. How much is that gonna be?
Four hundred
31,
seventy-seven thousand.
all right, 474.
Yeah, 477.
Okay, so let's go ahead and post these numbers. So the sales is 954, 47, 477. But at this point, the principal's book person is finished. She's made it. That person's made their journal entries, posted to the ledger, and they're done. Now the team leader has to get that information from every book and just so it's adding across. So we don't have any beginning inventory. We just have the purchases. You just bring those purchases to here, subtract the ending inventory, that T account, to get the raw materials used. Then you pull up those labors they gave you, add those for total labor. Applied overhead, whatever they applied, you add that in to get your total manufacturing overhead. There will be no beginning working process. On the tax book, there will be an ending working process. So on principal, intermediate, and advanced, there is no inventory. Only on the tax book, uh, we have to do the allocation to get the cost of goods manufactured. And that's it. Cost of goods sold, a similar thing. And I guess we're doing the top part of the income statement. So the team leader has to bring in the sales for each book, cost of goods sold, uh, bring that in for each book, less ending finished goods. There will be no ending finished goods for the first three books, only for tax. That adjustment that we make will be in this column here for the over, under, less adjusted gross margin. So essentially, you adding up this information that's provided, and then the team leader has to make the journal entry to number one, record the actual overhead, and the actual overhead was 210. So that's going to be done all the way over here. It's
We would
all
have to make an adjusted entry, huh?
just the team leader. Okay.
Can you
Then
go back to stage 2?
go back to stage 2. Get stage 2. The numbers in stage 2, you're just multiplying. These are all quantities here. So for your book, you're just going in and multiplying. How much the ink cost was, how much the paper, labor rate, then 8 here, which is your unit overhead, your POR. So that should not be the hardest of things. So since you didn't have everything and didn't get in Blackboard, this will be due at 5:30 on Thursday. Think y'all gonna have it done by 5:30 on Thursday?
Yes, sir.
So what do we need to finish? Like our section, so the intermediate section, and I do the journal entries for whatever my section is, and then
You send
that's
it
all
to
you
the
guys.
team leader. Then,
Oh, okay. So
then
then
the
you.
team leader's gonna put it together and send me one submission.
Oh, okay, okay.
So for this in-class problem, the team leader is sending me one submission. But when we do the quiz, you will send me your work. So you see that you do the first part, you do stages 2, 3, and 4 in post, and you're done. Okay? So for your retest, you're simply sending me that initial stuff and all the way through stage 4, and you're done. So I think that's kind of fair. Then the team leader pulls it together. Now, there's still a little problem I'm seeing with this calculation of unit cost, selling price, and POR. There was a problem before. It's a problem. We saw it today. You need to go back to those problems and practice on them. I would try to put in the solutions to all of those 10 problems. And you just go practice, because if you mess this up, you're going to mess up a whole lot of everything else. If one person mess up, then what? The whole team is messed up. So, book team members, you only got one book. All you got to do is to go through 4 with selling price and cost of goods sold. So you have less to do, but you got to do it correctly. Any questions? Office hours at 5:30 tomorrow. So you should have any questions, but you should be trying to have this done by 5:30 tomorrow. All right. And then if there are any
I have a
questions,
question.
yes.
So we don't do none of this, like none of the other stuff that was added. We don't do none of this.
I'm not sure. I can't see what you're showing me.
I'm on your template thing. So
Okay.
everything else, like, so we don't have to do none of this.
I'm not sure. I think you got to do everything. Yeah, you got to do cost of goods manufacturing, cost of goods sold. So if we were doing cost of goods manufactured for principal, so let's just look at that for a second. Okay, so for principals, the 400,000, the 400, let me just see if I can pull those in. 400 and 200. So they use 600,000. So the raw material used 400 and 200. So the team leader will bring in 600,000 here. Okay. Direct labor, or if you wanted 20 to 16. Direct labor 20,000. Applied overhead 16,000. Team leader adds it up and come up with the total cost, and just work across to come up with totals. So you just got 4 books. So you think about it a little bit. We're just adding up what happened on 4 books. So yeah, you got to do everything. Everything on here you got to do. And notice we just do a cost of goods sold, and we put sales in to get the gross margin. So you go in the gross margin, and that's it. Sales less cost of goods sold gives you gross margin. So that's where you're going to gross margin. So yes, you do have to do everything. So work on it, work with the team, get the material, and then I'll be on at 5:30. It would be good. Either you have it pretty much finished by 5:30, or you let me know what your questions or problems are. Okay, Vaughn, are we ready?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just filling out my information right now on my document.
Ashley B and Ashley A, are we ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, Vanessa, are we ready? Rihanna, you gonna be able to handle the new team for me?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, that's what I like to hear. So, we're this is nothing new. It's 4 books, and I want to add work with this and be done with this. We won't go back over it again. So what we do is it. We have some other you know challenging areas, and so I don't want to waste time on something which is just really a clerical exercise of adding those things up. So it's a little different. You think a little different, but we've got to get into break even and things like that, things that are more important in general for your knowledge. The fact that you can adding up 4 books, a little bit, little things there, but it's not critically important in terms of the material that we want to cover going forward. So I'm going to spend 1 week on this, and then we probably go to process costing, and probably just 1 day, since you all got to come off of spring break and have a mental health day. I don't understand why next week. But so we'll look at that briefly. Then when we get into April, we're going to be in the break even analysis in your project. So don't overly worry about this. We're only going to look at it for this problem, and that's it. You won't be tested on it again. With the team leaders, I'm expecting them to pull everybody on the team forward. See, the team leader is submitting this for credit this period. You only sending in for past credit, you know, the amount on one book. That just helps you going back. But going forward, the team leaders are going to have it. So you should have your full credit for the third grade period. That's what that's what I want to see happen. Any other questions? So
No, I don't
probably,
got no question.
okay. So if you don't have it done by 5:30, then you need to be on. We will probably go to 7 o'clock on Thursday also, but you'll be working in your breakout room on Thursday. So be on early, about 10 minutes early, so I can get you in your breakout room, and you'll be able to go ahead and work.
All right. I was gonna tell you, I just turned in my I turned in the quiz too, the individual things. 2 and 3, I turned those in kind of late, but I did submit them though. And then I turned in 4 through what was it? 4 through 10? Yeah, I turned those in.
When did you turn 4
I
through
turned those
10?
in on time. I'll let you know that 2 and 3. Yeah, I just turned those in today. So I'll just let you know.
All right. Well,
Just so you do.
the key thing is on those, you got to make sure you got the beginning stuff right. So I will probably, I guess, try to work on tomorrow to put in, the unit cost, selling price, POR numbers, and you need to check to make sure you got those numbers right. And if you got to do that, I'll look at it and grade it eventually. But if I send you the answers, you got to go and see if you got it right. See, if you don't get the first part right, then a whole lot of other things going to be wrong.
Yes, sir. Got you.
Okay.
Dr. Boyd,
Yes,
I
sir,
emailed,
Mrs.
I emailed you in regards of a couple of assignments that I didn't get any grades on, but I know for a fact I turned them in, and I also still have them. Do I need to resubmit them?
I don't need you to resubmit anything to me.
All right.
I've just done tentative week 8. So once you all, everybody's turned in this extra work, and once you do the quiz, I'll have a revised 8 out there, a final 8 week, and I'll try to have all of those updates in there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And you emailed me a couple of days ago, right, Chris?
Yes, sir. Yesterday, actually.
Okay. So I'll begin to look at those tomorrow, and once I get the submissions in on Thursday that go back to that period, I'll pull those in, and then I'll do a final week 8 with all the adjustments in. Anything else? Maness, anything?
When will you have this video uploaded? Boy,
I will try to get it up tonight.
appreciate it.
And so this, the quiz that we're going to take on Thursday, it's its own separate quiz. It's not the retest for something from last
It's
class.
both. It's both, Ashley.
It's
It's the
both? Okay.
retest. It's the retest to go back. So everybody working on their book, they got an hour. That retest goes back to last period for people who need it. Not for you, Ashley. Then,
So then will this count as, I can count this towards a different grade, or you'll go in and factor it some kind of way?
okay, for the third period, the whole team thing is that you submit is your first grade for the third period. So when you submit that for the team on Thursday, that's the first 10 points for the third period. So some people, I needed them to go by. I needed to give them points because they really didn't get many points at all on that individual quiz. So they're getting a chance to go back. And for Mike and James, if they do a good job, see, they're working on their exemption from the final, but they gotta get these people to perform. So y'all's challenge is to make them perform and do such a good job. I say you all have assisted me so much, you all can exempt the final.
Okay, because I was gonna ask about something because I needed a reason to do this again because you just switched the group up and everything. I wasn't a big fan of that. Be being honest,
Yeah, but is exempting the final worth it?
it's worth it now. After you said that, but before I had a problem with it.
Well, when I graded, it was needed.
Okay,
So I didn't just do it, you know. Uh,
I just we already built this connection with the groups and stuff, and it was like
uh,
we already
it's not
discussed what
necessarily. It's
the
not
final project was gonna
necessarily
be.
that. It's not necessarily that I might not switch it back at some point, but for these next two chapters, I just need you all to work with these folks so that they can be successful. Okay. Then we'll
Oh,
look at it for
okay,
these next two periods. But right
okay,
now, it's not critical in terms of the project, but it's critical for me to have them successful.
okay.
If you all don't help them, they won't be successful. So that's
All
why
right.
it's
And then if we have someone that's absent in our group for next class, do we have to just do their book for them?
yep, yeah, do that. But how can you get your total?
Okay.
Oh,
All
that's
you say what?
Wow.
yeah. I don't like that. I ain't gonna lie, Miss Dr. Boyd. I ain't even gonna. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even really like turning my work in to the team leader because I feel like that's how I missed a couple of my assignments right
Oh,
now.
Chris, I'm tomorrow. I'm not gonna do it tonight because I'm too tired tonight. But tomorrow I'm gonna put your stuff this
I'm
year.
just saying.
Come on, Mr. Speed. You got a new team leader now. Come on.
Yeah, yeah.
Give me
I'm
a little bit of
trusting you,
credit.
Mike. I'm trusting you. I ain't trying to
Hey.
throw my old team leader under the bus because my old
Uh-huh.
team leader was good too. But I'm just saying. Yeah, my
Yeah,
old team
but
leader was good too. Yeah.
yeah, everybody was working and trying, but sometimes you got to make a substitution to get, to
Right.
get where we need to be. So I've got some relief pitchers coming in because relief effort is needed because on these two teams, none of those people were virtually at sea. Okay, so if I just kept things the way they were, it would keep going that way. And with Chris, maybe some things were left out, so it could be adjusted. So I'll look at that.
Give me one
But
second. He said,
way
I'm still
to
listening.
go back and get some points and go forward with points.
Cool.
So
And can
you got to take advantage of that opportunity.
you
Now,
also post the video before last?
Say what, Bill?
We missed the video of the last.
Trying to think that a video was missing.
yeah, it was.
I'll go back and see. Okay, I thought it was up. I'll look at everything that's recorded and put it up.
Okay.